Hey, how's it going? Philip Clark here. I'm with Mat Nastos, who is the writer and creator of The Cadre, as well as a screenwriter for Sci-Fi Channel, among other things. How you doing, Matt?
Pretty good.
Good. How's the show going for you?
It's a lot of fun. I'm meeting a lot of cool people.
Nice. Can you give us a basic idea of what The Cadre is all about?
Basically what it is Marvel really wasn't doing a good X-Men book, so I thought I'd do one. And that's kind of what The Cadre is. It's basically a 1980s style superhero book like the Teen Titans or X-Men. It's an all-ages book, a lot of, I guess, action and adventure. That's pretty much the lay of the land.
How long have you been writing?
I started writing, I started doing this back in 1995. I started writing, professionally I started writing in 97 for some Sci-Fi Channel stuff. And then I moved on, I did a lot of directing for against Sci-Fi Channel, like Farscape, First Wave, I did some Sliders episodes, and then moved on to doing the low budget ones.
Very cool. You also do Fight Me Fanboy, which is that at all autobiographical, or what's the general premise of Fight Me Fanboy?
It's basically high fidelity in a comic book shop. It's a guy who's it's autobiographical. It's a guy who is just way too into comics, and his beloved is not a comic book person, and she breaks up with him because he's taking it one step too far, and the rest of the movie's kind of about him winning her back.
Nice. And who would you say your influences are as far as writing and creating?
Well, art-wise, it's Wendy Pini from ElfQuest. My whole goal when I was growing up was to draw ElfQuest, and unfortunately, my first job out of school was drawing for ElfQuest. So once you meet your goal right out, you really don't have anything to do with the rest of the time. So I've just been kind of wandering back and forth. Writing has got to be Chris Claremont, Marv Wolfman. Art again, Wendy Pini, John Byrne, George Perez. You for writing.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. Now,
see this right here, Sentinels.
Sentinels, there you go. Awesome. Now, you've actually had a fair amount of success distributing outside of the direct market of comics. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Basically what I did was, nobody really likes Diamond. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, go ahead.
But so what I did was, I kind of saw that when you go through Diamond as a small press company, you're basically limiting yourself to normally about 200 to 400 comics, sold, and that's it. And that's really not enough to make any money on. Generally, you lose a lot of money, and so I decided, well, where do you go outside the comic industry? You go to the mainstream. So I went to Borders, I went to Barnes & Noble, there's some Best Buys I went to, and I just talked to their managers there, found out who the buyers were, talked to them, and basically just sold them on the books. A lot of the guys were about my age or a little older, had read comics when they were young, and that's what they remembered comic books were like. And so when they saw my stuff, they're like, oh, this is exactly what I used to read, and you should talk to my boss. And so they started buying the books. Our first issue sold about 1,000 copies to start, and now we're selling between 8,500 and 10,000.
And that's unheard of compared to like the kind of purchase orders that you get as an independent from Diamond.
Yeah. Well, we're also doing a lot more stuff. There's the bookstores, which is the majority of it, but I have guys that go to concerts and set up, that sell in the concerts, WWE events we sell at. This book, Fionn, sold 20,000, or right around 20,000 its first month through Scottish festivals, Celtic festivals. A lot of those buyers who run little stores and stuff picked up, hundreds of the books because there's nobody else doing the Scottish superhero. And so you found a nice little niche to kind of exploit. Yeah, and then they buy that book and they see that I do other books and they pick up those books. So there's it's getting into a lot of places where there are no other comics.
Right. That's great. Now, it sounds like you're making a fairly good profit in comics, which is actually normally not a very profitable media. Is this something that you do full time, or do you have a regular day gig that you're doing? Or
well, no, I'm partners in a fitness company, and so we actually sell fitness. That's one of my jobs. I also write and direct produce low budget horror movies.
Right.
We usually do about 2 of those a year. They go on the Sci-Fi Channel. So that's kind of my day job. I do a lot of work for Disney, and then this is my fun job. But it does help pay a lot of bills.
Nice. Well, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that wants to get into the industry, that wants to start out?
Just do your book. Get out there, and you're going to start small, but there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know, just draw, write, put your book out.
Awesome. For people who want to get to know more about Nifty Comics and the cadre and Mat Nastos, where can we find you?
www.niftycomics.com.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Sure.